How's it going? How's everybody doing? Essential Notes, back to talk fragrance with you guys, and today I'm going to be discussing a few scents of wood fragrances. In particular, there are 3 NFT releases. I'm losing sunlight, so I'm going to be battling that at the same time as making this video, but we're just going to try to get it done. This video is long overdue. I wanted to do this video a couple months ago. I think a couple months ago when I got the NFT 3, I'm like, I would love to just do a video highlighting all 3, but here I am a couple months later and we're just getting it done. So Scents of Wood, I think 3 years back, started an NFT fragrance kind of subscription thing where you could lock in 4 fragrances. I forget what the price was, and you could kind of get these exclusive fragrances. And I don't think that there was any voting at that time. Later on, the NFT community was able to vote on the type of fragrance that they wanted, possibly the Perfumer, and then smell a few mods, and pick one that they wanted the Perfumer to go ahead and execute for that. I missed out on the first 2. So they had already released NFT 1 and NFT 2, but I kind of heard the rave around them. I was late. I wish I would have been part of that, but I jumped in right after NFT 2 was released, or was finished and then was about to be released. So I went ahead, and because I wanted to get NFT 1, I had, again, 4 fragrances that I had paid for. So you could get the NFTs, or you can exchange them for the regular bottles that they had. So I still opted to go for NFT 1, even though I was not part of it. And I'll be kind of discussing that. I've sprayed and I have it on my hand, NFT 1 here. Then NFT 2 was already completed, was getting ready to be released, and I heard people talking about it and I wanted to get a bottle of it. So I got NFT 2 as well. And then I was part of NFT 3, which we did vote on the Perfumer we wanted to do it, and then the type of fragrance that we were gonna have. Then they sent out mods and we voted on the mods, and then they went ahead and finished developing that particular mod that won, and then it was released. And now we're doing the same thing for NFT 4. I think at some point it switched from being called an NFT fragrance to the Creators Club, because of the more collaborative approach that they were taking on. So we'll jump into NFT 1, which is this bottle here. And all of the NFT collections have these black medallions, and then they come in different colored bottles. But NFT 1, I went ahead and sprayed it. It's a soft, fresh fragrance. I'll go over kind of the notes that they listed, but this was a great release. It got a lot of kind of momentum. I think this was a great initial release, and I can't recall if people had voted on this, or this is one that Scents of Wood themselves kind of spearheaded and then released for the NFT community. But the Perfumer is Pascal Gaurin, so he's obviously the big name that dropped Plum and Cognac for them. And the notes on this are vetiver, geranium, lavender, cistus, amber tonic, and cardamom. And like I said, I would say that the 2 main ingredients in this are the lavender and this amber tonic kind of accord or ingredient. Maybe it's just it's its own ingredient, and it has this really beautiful ambery footprint, but at the same time, I would say that it kind of has these little glimmers, almost like Tonka to me has these little accent points that kind of come out. It has this light kind of ambery quality, but it's not as dense as amber would be. In fact, I can read a little bit about this amber tonic accord here. So amber tonic is what is called the fragrance industry a captive. It's a patented molecule for IFF and scents of woods. Obviously, that's who they partner with for their ingredients. It holds a unique combination of being highly diffusive, soft, amber that's rich. It has a powdery musk notes. Unlike any other fragrance molecule, it adds an endless warmth and gentle touch of woods and a velvety feel. So I would definitely agree with the velvety feel, but it has these tonka-like attributes that kind of pop off, and it adds this warmth to the lavender a lot. And those are the two main ingredients that kind of get in there. The geranium is more like a complementary note to the lavender. There's some vetiver, there's some cardamom for texture and spice. It does have a little bit of movement, but it's really just this gorgeously soft lavender scent that has this unique warmth, ambery warmth to it. It really is kind of a one-of-a-kind because of that amber tonic ingredient. But I'll move on to NFT 2, which came in this white bottle, NFT 2 placard. And this is more, if I remember correctly, let me just smell. It's more of a gourmand leaning fragrance. Caroline Dumur was the perfumer on this one, and it features notes of aldehydes, vetiver, there's a milk accord, there's rose, there's cashmere, and then there's this ingredient called pyrazine. So there is this, the pyrazine, I'm just going to get into it because it's, again, a unique kind of ingredient. It says pyrazine is a remarkably effective element capable of infusing a fragrance with unparalleled strength and character. It brings a comforting warmth reminiscent of toasted and roasted delights. So this does have this kind of toasted quality. I wouldn't say like, almost like roasted nuts is what it makes me think of. There's a richly dimensional, it's richly dimensional. It unveils a nutty, yeah, just like I was saying, it feels nutty to me, and coffee-like undertone, accompanied with an edible savory essence akin to burnt caramel or toasted bread. Pyrazine also complements amber and woody notes, leaving a captivating charred impression. So this has that milky, creamy undertone. It has that touch of rose with the aldehydes at the top. In that regard, it's super unique. You have these aldehydes that are kind of creating their own movement at the top, this undercurrent. And I would say it's more, it feels like at the base you have, even though they're describing it as flipped, to me, the milk and the rose kind of feel like an undercurrent, like in the base. And then in the mid, sandwiched in between, is that cashmere and the pyrazine and vetiver. So yeah, it feels like there's this sandwiching that's happening, and that roasted nutty quality really persists in the heart. It's, again, a gorgeous and unique fragrance. I do really like the NFTs when I smelled the two of these, because it still feels like these were different. They felt like a different, almost in a different genre than the rest of Scents of Woods collection that they released through the subscription. And I don't know, it just made it a little bit more kind of special, because it definitely felt like these were kind of set apart. They're not like in the same vein as those fragrances. They're a little bit more, I don't want to say, maybe have a little bit more complexity or uniqueness, and maybe it's because of the ingredients, those kind of special ingredients that they utilized. So moving on to NFT 3, which was the one that I got to partake in, which was a cool experience. I believe the first thing we voted on was the type of fragrance. So they broke out the different categories. They had woody, woody fresh, woody floral, woody spicy, woody leather, woody boozy, and woody boozy won. And so that's what I voted for, and it won. Then I think we voted on a perfumer, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge fan of Celine E.A.R.L, who's done a number of fragrances from for the house, and I really wanted to see her engineer and craft one of the NFTs, and I'm still pulling for her to do that at some point. But Julien Rasquinet, I believe is how you say his name, was the perfumer on this. And man, I was not really familiar with a lot of his work. I had heard of some of the things that he has put out, but I wasn't familiar with a number of them. So his name came up, and then they sent out mods. They did an interview with him, and he briefly talked about the mods that were going to be sent out. And then they sent the mods out, and all three of them were really, really nice. I think there was one called pear, or what was it? Patchouli and pear, eucalyptus in cherry, and there was a third one called, what did they call it? Let me look here. I'm cheating right now, guys. So, santal in plum, I believe is what it was. And we all voted, and patchouli in pear won. That happened to be the one that I voted for as well. But I will say a close second for me was that eucalyptus and cherry. I think that was a very unique smelling mod that they had sent. So I just I wore this today. This is a fabulous, fabulous scent. But just to get a refresher, this has I would say it has this boozy pear liqueur quality that it feels like if this boozy pear liqueur accord was a kind of like a piece of satin fabric flowing in the wind. Bear with me, I know it sounds weird, but if that was the case, within that there would also be a complementary ginger, there's osmanthus, and then there's a touch of nuttiness from hazelnut. That's what I get at the top. Then it feels like there's this orange flower that's note that's imprinted on this dry woody patchouli, and then you just kind of feel that imprinted wood just kind of emerge from underneath that satin cloth, and that's how I envision this fragrance. And then in the dry down you have vanilla and myrrh, and there's orris also up at the top with that pear liqueur. And this is just very sophisticated. It has this refined finesse. Like you could tell that Julien Rasquinet, like when he was working on this, there was this really beautiful touch, like, and refinement and finesse that he built it with. It feels very like a piece of art, to be honest. It's really gorgeous. And so yeah, those are the 3 NFT fragrances that are out at the moment. We are working on NFT 4, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. The perfumer for this next one, again, I voted for Celine E.A.R.L. She did not win, but Frank Volkel won, and as you guys probably know, Santal 33 is one of his big hits, and the category that he's going to be working with is woody floral. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with the rest of the Creators Club to put out NFT4, and I'm looking forward to see which direction this ends up going. And that's all I got for you guys. You guys, sorry that I haven't been on YouTube as much as I was earlier this year. Just had a lot pop up in life. As everyone knows, life goes on, whether we have time for stuff or not. And so in juggling that, I have to lay down some stuff, and I had to lay down some of the YouTube videos, but I'm hoping to get those kicked back up for November and December. Be on the lookout for, we're already in the midst of fall, so it's not going to be fragrances to pick up for the fall, but I'll be coming out with a video, fragrances that you should pick up before fall is over, because I'm late. But anyways, if you guys can, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video so I can continue to grow the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, peace.